Welcome back to the deep dive. Today we're taking a look under the hood at something really essential, but, often completely invisible. The global automotive wiring harness market. Sounds like a bit of a mouthful, right? But trust me, this isn't just some niche component. It's the foundation. It powers everything in your car from the infotainment system, the audio to those incredibly sophisticated advanced driver assistance systems, the ones that literally save lives. It's really the unsung hero, this complex network making modern vehicles possible. Our journey today is powered by some really solid market research from Cognitive Market Research. And our mission, well, is to unpack the past, understand the present, and look at the future projections for this crucial automotive component. We want to uncover what its evolution means for the cars you'll be driving tomorrow. Okay, let's unpack this.
What's fascinating here is, yeah, just how critical these things are. Wiring harnesses. They really are, like you said, the central nervous system of, well, any modern vehicle. I mean, picture a car without one. It's just a collection of parts, right? Nothing can talk to anything else. And the scale of this market, it really underscores how important it is. It was valued at $47.72 billion globally back in 2021. And that's not a static number. The growth trajectory they're projecting is, well, it's significant. It gives us a clear roadmap for where the whole auto industry is headed.
The nervous system, that's such a powerful way to put it. So let's dig into that global picture then, because the numbers really do highlight this shift. Starting from that, what was it, $47.72 billion in 2021?
That's right.
The global market for these wiring harnesses isn't just ticking up slightly. It's projected to climb past $59 billion by 2025, and then it really takes off, soaring to an expected $91.893 billion by 2033. That works out to a compound annual growth rate, a CAGR, of 5.613% over that time. Now, 5.613% maybe sounds modest, but given the huge starting point, is that, I don't know, what we'd expect with all the EV buzz and tech, or is it maybe surprisingly conservative?
Well, if we connect this to the bigger picture, that 5.613% CAGR is actually pretty robust, especially for a component market like this one, established but also evolving so fast. It reflects a really consistent, strong push from a few key drivers. First off, the big one, vehicle electrification. EVs, hybrids, they just need way more electrical components. It's inherent. You've got high voltage battery systems, sophisticated power electronics. More components mean a much more complex electrical architecture. And that demands not just more wires, but different kinds of wires, ones that can handle higher power, faster data. And secondly, the explosion of advanced electronics. It's huge. We're talking everything from these elaborate infotainment screens, basically powerful computers in your dash, to the ADS systems, the driver assistance stuff. Think adaptive cruise, lane keeping, automatic parking, all that. These aren't just add-on features. They have layers of sensors, cameras, processors, all needing to be intricately wired up, often with special shielding too, to stop interference. And then finally, there's just a general increase in vehicle production and sales globally, especially in emerging markets. More cars are hitting the roads, and those cars are increasingly packed with tech.
Right, so it's a double whammy. It's not just more cars, but the cars themselves are fundamentally different, smarter, electric, more connected, all over the world. That really clears up the why behind these big numbers. Okay, so now we get the global push. Where is this playing out most dramatically? Let's break it down geographically. How about North America? The market there was $13.6 billion in 2021, and it's projected to hit nearly $25 billion by 2033. Within North America, the U.S. is clearly the big player, right?
Oh, absolutely. The U.S. really leads the pack in North America. It accounted for roughly $11 billion back in 2021, and that's expected to grow to over $19 billion by 2033. That growth comes from, well, it's strong domestic auto manufacturing, big investments in EV production, and just high consumer demand for cars loaded with the latest tech. Canada is also a really substantial contributor. Its market is projected to more than double from about $2.1 billion up to $4.5 billion by 2033. Mexico, while smaller in absolute terms, is also on a healthy growth path. It's heading towards nearly $3.9 billion by 2033. It benefits from being a key manufacturing hub for the whole North American market. So these figures really show a region where, established auto industries are rapidly adapting to these new tech demands.
Yeah, it's fascinating how those big manufacturing ecosystems are just retooling, basically, for all this electrical complexity. Okay, let's hop across the Atlantic. Europe. Overall, Europe's looking at a pretty significant jump, too, from about $11.6 billion in 2021 to over $20.8 billion by 2033. What's the story over there, given, Europe's diverse mix of car makers and markets?
Europe presents a really interesting mosaic, actually. It reflects, a continent with both these legacy auto giants and also national markets that are evolving fast. Germany, of course, the long-standing powerhouse. It continues on an impressive path looking to grow its wiring harness market significantly, almost $4 billion by 2033. France and the UK are also key players. Both are projected to see their markets go past $2.5 billion by then. But what's really compelling is that it's not just those traditional leaders. You see countries like Italy, Russia, Spain, even smaller nations like Sweden, Denmark, Switzerland. They're all showing consistent growth. It points to a really broad-based move across the whole continent towards more electrified, more feature-rich vehicles. It suggests this push for advanced auto tech is deeply embedded across all European economies. Doesn't matter if they're major manufacturers or just strong consumers of modern cars.
Wow, okay. So it's this widespread electrical evolution happening right across the continent, big economies and smaller ones alike. But now, here's where it gets really interesting, according to the data. Let's talk Asia Pacific. This region is showing, well, incredibly robust expansion. It's becoming a powerhouse. The overall regional growth is just immense. Started at $16.32 billion in 2021
Yeah.
and soaring to an estimated $33.495 billion by 2033. That's practically doubling. What is driving this explosive growth in Asia Pacific, and what does it tell us about the future global landscape?
The growth in Asia-Pacific is phenomenal, yeah.
Yeah.
And it really cements the region's central role, increasingly dominant role, actually in global auto manufacturing and consumption. China leads the charge here. Its market for wiring harnesses is projected to nearly double, from over $5.4 billion to almost $10.8 billion by 2033. And this isn't just about sheer volume. It signals China's really rapid internal innovation cycle and huge domestic demand for complex, tech-heavy vehicles that could really shift global automotive influence. Japan also shows strong, steady growth. It's expected to reach over $5.3 billion. But what's particularly striking is India's proportional growth. It's projected to more than double its market size, soaring from $2.5 billion to nearly $6.4 billion by 2033. That really highlights India's rapidly expanding domestic auto market. You've got a growing middle class, increasing adoption of new vehicle tech. South Korea and Australia are also seeing substantial increases, each projected to roughly double their markets, hitting over $3 billion and $2.5 billion respectively. So this rapid expansion across Asia-Pacific, it implies not just a massive increase in car production, but also this surging consumer appetite for advanced cars. It firmly establishes the region as a critical hub for the future of the auto industry. It does raise an interesting question, though. With this level of growth and innovation, will Asia-Pacific become the main incubator for the next generation of wiring harness tech? Especially maybe the stuff focused on cost effectiveness for mass markets.
That's a really fascinating point about India's growth rate and, yeah, the potential for new innovation hubs maybe shifting east. It underlines the global shift we're seeing, but the expansion isn't stopping there, is it? It really is a worldwide thing. Let's group the remaining regions just to see how this market is truly expanding everywhere. South America, for instance, climbing from about $3.3 billion in 2021 to a projected $6.9 billion, almost $7 billion by 2033. The Middle East rising from $1.575 billion to $3.4 billion in the same period, and Africa, an increasingly important market, moving from $1.3 billion up to nearly $2.4 billion.
Absolutely. Even in these really diverse regions, the trend is clear. Electrification, advanced features, they're driving significant market expansion. In South America, Brazil is a key growth engine. Its market's expected to more than double, hitting over $3 billion by 2033. Argentina is also showing strong proportional growth, heading towards $1.45 billion. It reflects, a mix of local manufacturing and a growing consumer base that wants modern vehicles. And then for the Middle East, we see Saudi Arabia's market projected to go past $1 billion by 2033. Turkey and the UAE also experiencing robust growth, each moving towards or maybe even past the $2.6 billion mark. This is likely fueled by economic development and maybe a preference for feature-rich cars, whether imported or locally assembled. And finally, Africa. Nigeria is expected to grow to over $1 billion by 2033. South Africa, pretty close, nearly $1 billion as well. These consistent growth rates, even in what we often think of as emerging markets, they really speak to increasing vehicle penetration and just this growing demand for modern, feature-packed cars. This raises an important question, though. As these regions expand their auto markets, how will the local infrastructure, the technical expertise, how will that need to evolve to fully support the increasing complexity and just the sheer volume of these advanced vehicles?
That is a critical question to think about, isn't it? Especially for regions at different stages of industrial development. So, okay, let's try and wrap this up. What does all this mean for us? The drivers and passengers of tomorrow. We've seen the global market for automotive wiring harnesses isn't just growing, it's booming, often unseen, but across every single continent. It really reinforces the idea that this market, hidden away under the dashboard, under the hood, It's a vital indicator, a leading indicator, maybe, of these broader, exciting trends in vehicle tech and global auto production. It truly is that unsung hero silently powering our ever smarter vehicles.
Yeah, and to summarize the key takeaway, the global automotive wiring harness market is, well, it's unequivocally set for robust, steady growth everywhere. And this expansion is fundamentally driven by the ongoing evolution of car technology, more electrification, more advanced electronics, all wrapped up in rising global demand for vehicles. So the next time you get into a car, it doesn't matter if it's yours or a rideshare, maybe take a second to think about that intricate, invisible network of wires under the surface. It's silently powering every light, every sensor, every single byte of data, making your ride safer, more comfortable, more connected. But looking ahead, given the acceleration towards fully autonomous vehicles and the even more complex electronic systems they'll need, how might the actual nature of these harnesses have to evolve to handle just the sheer volume and speed of data? Or, maybe thinking longer term, could totally new technologies maybe focused on localized, high-speed wireless data within the car? Could they start to replace traditional wiring in the distant future? What kind of new challenges and what new innovations might a profound shift like that bring for engineers and designers around the world? Something to think about.